Hey guys, so this is What If Deku was Magneto Part 2, or had the powers of Magneto. Now guys, this is a what if. I did part 1 a couple months back, or a month back. It was a pretty good, video, and I'm just making part 2. Not really anything to talk about other than just get into it, guys. Oh, before I start, not really gonna take up that much time. Before I start, guys, basically I put a poll, or I asked a question on commentary on on YouTube to ask, what hero costume should Deku have. Only one person commented, and he said another different design I had for it was like a straight up was a red suit. I didn't really like the red aesthetic Deku has, so I asked my friends, you know, on TikTok, some of my friends on Discord, and most of my other, friends that are also what ifers. Basically, they told me to just go with the X-Men of Apocalypse, or X-Men. What was it? X-Men, X-Men Magneto's outfit, and I went with that. Now, guys, eventually, Deku will get the more modified version of Magneto's suit, his suit from X-Men Apocalypse, when he was helped out with Apocalypse. But basically, just get into it, guys. I'm gonna start our story off with Deku basically going back to school after losing Bakugo in the last episode. After Bakugo accused Deku of being a evolved quirk user, and in this universe, if you don't know, evolved quirk users are basically just quirk users. They're basically this version's mutants, and people are afraid of them because these versions of quirk users didn't have any limitations, and no quirk erasing quirks, bullets, or anything like that can take it away from them. Meaning that, well, they basically straight up just have superpowers with no limitations. So that's basically it. And basically, we see Deku go back to school the next day, and he tries to avoid Bakugo, but it's pretty much inevitable. And Bakugo tries to, yell at Deku, and tries to persecute him for being a modified quirk user. Deku isn't really, paying attention to him, and since most people don't see Deku being, antagonized by this, they assume that Bakugo's just being a jerk and just making up stuff. So pretty much Kirishima, Miss Cannon, kind of is reluctant to be Bakugo's friend, but he still does. And basically, the school days or school day basically goes, well, the same. Bakugo and Deku stare at each other and give each other death stares the whole day, like way more intense than canon. And basically, eventually, All Might walks in the class and explains to the class they're doing work combat training, and they're given their hero costumes for the first time. And Deku's hero costume is more tactical, but also a little flashy. Not too flashy, but enough. Deku's hero costume is something like this. Basically, his hero costume is pretty much just the X-Men Days of Future Past Magneto suit to the T. Basically, just looking like this. Pretty much, Deku doesn't have the helmet yet, so that's not part of the outfit. But basically, Deku has his outfit. Basically, Deku's outfit is mainly based off tactical stuff, and also on the off chance that Deku was ever shot. His whole chest area is pretty much bulletproof alongside his arm. His whole top area is made out of Kevlar and some bulletproof materials. His lower body is, knife proof. Basically, the suit is very durable, fireproof, and stuff like that. The pants aren't really bulletproof. He does have a cup underneath his pants that is bulletproof, that is spacious. You know what I mean? But basically, we see that not spacious, but big. But it's what the heck. Sorry, guys. My friend said to put that in the video. But basically, pretty much what Deku did. Deku's hero costume is pretty normal, if you could say. It's just the same suit as this. But basically, Deku's hero costume is mainly just for durability and kind of just practicality. Now he did go for the red or copper type of design because it kind of represents, it kind of represents somewhat how his powers work. Because most of the suit is made out of metal, and plus the vest is a metal-like substance or a magnetized substance. So Deku can use that to pretty much levitate himself upwards instead of using his shoes. So yeah, basically after that we see that Deku gets into his hair costume. Some people compliment on his suit, but pretty much the sorry the the combat training begins. Basically, Bakugo is teamed up with Ida against Deku and Ochaku, and Bakugo is way more angrier and doesn't even tell Ida. He just sprints out the room as soon as the match starts, trying to find Deku and yelling out his name at the top of his lungs to a point where his throat is like sore. Deku hears this like right when they get into the building because it's like echoing through the halls. And Deku tells Ochaku to go up and try to find Ida while I take care of Bakugo. She says, are you sure? And pretty much he says, of course. Now, pretty much, Deku walks on up the stairs, just taking his time, and Bakugo finds him. Bakugo runs towards Deku, and Deku tries to toy with him a little bit. Not really fighting him, but basically just using his magnetic abilities to pretty much just rip off his gauntlets on his arms, and also, just pants him. Pretty much just messing with him. Now, Bakugo eventually gets angry and pulls the pin. Pretty much both of the pins are in the air because Deku's levitating them. And he pulls both of the pins on both of the gauntlets, setting off a huge explosion. Deku dodges out the way and pretty much rips out a piece of metal throughout the foundation of the building or a wall nearby them out of a pillar, basically using it as a shield to shield himself from the explosion or the impact. Deku is shot through multiple different rooms of the floor they were on. Basically, Deku eventually, being flown to another part of the building, aka another part of the stairs. Deku falls down the stairs and he's back at like level 3 or like the third floor of the building. Deku gets up and Bakugo shortly follows using explosions to pretty much propel himself down and into the room where Deku, fell in. Deku was hiding behind a pillar, and Deku uses a little bit of his magnetic abilities that pretty much use a nearby broken off pole that's sticking out of the middle or sticking out of a pillar that Deku was thrown against because he did fall into the room. Deku took the middle rod and morphed it into kind of a frisbee or circle type thing. He grabbed it and threw it like a Tron blade or a Tron frisbee, and basically just threw it straight at Bakugo's head, using his magnetic abilities to propel faster than any normal person or any normal human being can throw it. Pretty much knocking Bakugo clean out, just making like a huge dent in his forehead, a huge gash, and him being knocked out for the rest of the whole match. Deku pretty much levitates himself up the stairs and right in the room where Deku sees Ochaku and Ida dueling it. Ochaku and Ida are starting to fight, and Deku uses magnetic abilities to basically use it to stop the fight entirely. Pretty much he stops the fight, pretty much pushing both of them apart, or just stops the whole thing and pushes them both apart using the middle in Ida's suit to grab him and basically just, throw him against the pillar, knocking him out. Deku grabs the bomb and levitates himself towards him touching the bomb and then winning. Hero team wins, villain team loses. Bakugo is royally pissed afterwards, about like 10 minutes after he wakes up after he's in the recovery girl's office, and he runs straight towards Deku right when the class is about to leave, or right when the students are about to leave to go home. Bakugo runs towards Deku, throwing a huge explosion towards him using all of his willpower, and Deku uses a little piece of metal, or pretty much a nearby pin, and pretty much uses the pin and disassembles it, sharpening some of the shards of metal in the pin and sticking it into Bakugo's arm, making cuts and almost hitting a vital vein in pretty much, Bakugo's wrist. Bakugo gets drop kicked down to the ground by Deku, and Deku looks at him and tells him to stop it. That you're embarrassing yourself, you're weak and you're pathetic. You always prey on people's downfalls because, well, you're insecure about yourself. You're afraid of being weak, like everybody else, like some people in the world. But just face the facts, Bakugo. You're nothing but a bully. You always will be nothing but a bully, and you'll never be pro hero. You'll never be a number one hero, and stop reaching for something that you'll never achieve, because you are nothing. You are nothing. Basically, Deku starts to down on Bakugo, pretty much lecturing him and just saying that he's a bad person, he's a horrible person, and he should just rot in hell. Literally him just dissing on Bakugo as hard as he possibly could. Bakugo feeling some emotions and actually about to cry. Cause like he also has a lot of pain in his arm, but on top of that, he's being told stuff that he thinks is true, and most of it is. Deku pretty much kicks Bakugo upside the head one more time before leaving after he gives Bakugo that lecture, and Deku walks back home. Deku's walking back home when he gets interrupted or stopped by Kirishima. Kirishima tries to tell Deku you should have gone that far, blah blah blah, and Deku just doesn't really care. He tells Kirishima to back off before something bad happens, and Kirishima's kind of confused and says, "Are you threatening me?" Deku looks at Kirishima, looks around, and says, "How about this?" Deku takes a whole car, like a truck, like I think a van, a black van, and basically grabs it, crushing it, and throwing it like a frisbee towards Kirishima. Kirishima dodges it, and out of nowhere, one of the rims of the tires hit Kirishima upside the forehead. Kirishima, when he saw this, he hardened himself before it can make impact, but he was still knocked out. Pretty much a couple hours later, when Kirishima woke up, he was in the hospital, and Kirishima didn't remember anything. He just remembered a green-haired boy moving some sort of object upside his head. So he didn't really remember Deku doing it. But basically what happened is Deku pretty much just ended it off there. Now, pretty much Deku would have walked home, pretty much just, done his normal thing. And basically that night he would have gone out to get something to eat. As he was walking towards the cafe, he would have walked in the cafe basically getting something, to eat. And also to drink some boba and some ramen. He would have eaten some, he would have finished his meal or his lunch or I guess his dinner, because Deku didn't cook or even order anything that night. Deku was starting to walk back home when he was interrupted by some sort of, pretty much enhanced quirk user, cultist haters. Like basically just people that hated mutants. I'm gonna sorry, I can't talk today. I don't know what's up with me. Refer pretty much evolved quirk users by, mutants, because they're basically just mutants in this world. Basically, pretty much Deku sees this and just is disgusted. He starts to use his powers to move the middle, the pennies, the wallet, even the wallet chains some people have, and just kills them all there. There was no police, no cameras there. He just massacres them just by looking at them. And he's about 8 feet looking over a corner because they were doing this like in a parking lot. And pretty much Deku just used his powers to massacre them in the parking lot, blood being everywhere. And Deku was about 10 feet away. And he was in a different parking lot, or he was right next to a corner where he saw a parking lot across from the street. Basically him seeing this. Pretty much Deku would have just looked at this and sort of said that, people like you disgust me. Him walking off. Basically him just walking off. Now basically after Deku would walk off, Deku would go back to his house. After that, Deku would just be chilling, and pretty much the next morning, the police would investigate, or I think about 7 something o'clock, or 1 o'clock in the morning, the police would have started to investigate what happened, because some people saw well, the splatter or the person that was in the store that was right in front of the parking lot saw this and reported it. The police and some pro heroes showed up, some detective pro heroes, and they tried to figure out what was happening. And one of these pro heroes was named Beast. And these pro heroes were named Beast, and he was interested in what happened. And it looked like some sort of evolved quirk user power, because they pretty much analyzed the speed on the middle. And the middle was moving the objects that they could kill them with, was moving at incredible, very fast speeds. Like some sort of telekinetic force drove them through the air, basically just massacring all of them. Because the speed the blades and the pennies and just all the corners are going for them to puncture skin and to kill a person would be very impressive feats of speed. Basically, not a normal quick user could use this, but the amount of speed and how well how quickly it happened, because it was a dash cam on a nearby car that picked this up, the store owner's car, and pretty much it was dash cam, and it happened in about I would say like 5 seconds. And a normal quirk would at least take longer than that, because well, we had to activate it, and also on top of that, you'd have to analyze the people around you to make a exact power. And also, it wasn't no real quirk users in the facility at that time, or in Japan at that time, that had a telepathic quirk like that at that speed or at that level of power, other than some kids at UA. But they wouldn't talk to UA kids until later on in the series, or try to investigate UA later on in the series. Deku will not get caught, but Deku will blame it on somebody else later in the future. A friend, a very close friend. But basically, pretty much the pro hero or the detective pro hero in this universe named Beast, this universe is Hank McCoy, would have been investigating this. Now, I'm going to leave it off here, guys. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you guys like and subscribe. Basically, guys, I'm really sorry this video was like only like 16, maybe 20 something minutes. I don't know. But basically, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I'll see you guys later. After this video, I will be uploading I will be uploading a lot more action figure content, because I'm kind of lacking, and most of my action figure subscribers, they're probably still here, but they're barely here, they don't really watch my content. But basically, guys, if you're one of the OGs that follow me because of my action figure content, it's coming back. Don't worry, it's coming back with a hard stripe, and it's hitting hard, okay? I'm still gonna be making what ifs, but this time I'm truly going to try to make as much action figure content as I can on the weekends and on the week. So I hope you guys enjoy, and be in store for the future of the channel. See you guys later. Bye. Be safe out there.